Hi everyone, welcome back to 33 Founders. Chase and I are delighted to be with Josh Hicks this morning, the co-founder of Plated. Thanks so much for joining us, Josh.
Thanks, guys.
So Josh, you had me at barbecue chicken burgers and zucchini fries, but can we start out with you telling us what's differentiating Plated among so many food startups?
Yeah, well, so for starters, we really focus on quality and customer experience. So we let our users choose the meals they want. We focus on really high quality, locally sourced ingredients. And for us, it's really just about creating the best possible customer experience and focusing on our customers rather than any sort of competition.
And customers have responded really well to that. You guys use the hashtag PlatedPics on Instagram and Twitter. How are you fostering that engagement?
So we have a whole team of in-house dedicated social media and customer experience experts who deal with, who reach out to customers and also, answer questions and really just are here to ensure that people get the best possible customer experience.
Great.
Now, there are a lot of moving parts to a food startup. So for someone who's considering a food-oriented startup, what do they need to consider?
Yeah, it's a hard business, but it's also one of the most fulfilling. I come from a software background, which is a ton of fun. It's one of the areas that I focus on at Plated too, but it's really nice having a tangible product that people can touch and enjoy and have such an emotional connection with. And we feel great about all the customers that we're helping live better, healthier lives. But it is also a challenge. The challenges of scaling, sourcing, and delivering a lot of high quality, locally sourced ingredients is a different kind of challenge than scaling a software business. So, it's really like all challenges. It's an opportunity too, but it's an opportunity to learn scaling logistics and physical spaces and how to find and scale up and interact with all sorts of different personality types, not just engineers. So really just a whole new host of challenges that are in many ways different than a traditional software startup.
Great.
What was the most important thing for you to get right early on?
It's interesting. I don't think there's any one important thing other than just to not quit. I think that's something you hear from a lot of entrepreneurs, and something I believe more by the month or by the day. It's really just the job is problem solving, and every day there's a different problem or 10 new problems, and you just gotta solve them all.
Embrace the 18-hour days.
Embrace the chaos.
John Frankel, one of your investors, has depicted the future of Plated as getting to know my tastes and then delivering accordingly. He said in order for it to be successful, it has to not feel like marketing. Is that something you guys are planning on doing?
So we are already learning people's tastes. We let you choose from a menu of 7 different recipes every week. We're exploring expanding that menu and doing other things, but we're still a small, scrappy team, so it's too early to plan for much of that yet.
When you're working with a smaller team, how do you evaluate which goals you can take on and which you have to put on the back burner?
Yeah, so we just try to focus on the customer. Whatever makes the most impact to the customer experience is what we focus on first, and it's always a tough trade-off. And we get in a room and sort of fight through it, but just try to do what's best for the customer.
All right, now I've got a question for you that comes from Cora, where someone is asking how your supply chains work.
Yeah, so we have fulfillment centers across the country, and we work with a whole variety of local farmers and producers. We try to focus on family-owned businesses, and we source from as near to the fulfillment center as possible. Everything's delivered there and packed up, portioned out, and then sent out to the customer.
Great. So you guys were on Shark Tank back in April, and Mark Cuban invested $500,000 in Plated. Josh, you've discussed the Shark Tank effect before. How can founders prepare their team for that type of growth?
There is no preparing for that. you do everything you can to scale up your servers, and in our case, to give our suppliers and vendors a heads up. But at the end of the day, it's a really exciting thing, but there's no real preparing for that kind of surge in traffic and demand and customer service.
How did that change your business?
It was fun first and foremost, and I think we had a lot of current customers write in who thought it was fun to see us. It really just brought kind of took the brand to the next level of awareness, which is really the most exciting part of it.
Is there anything that they cut out of that episode that you wish they would have kept?
I'm sure there were a few things we're not supposed to talk about them, but we had a very in-depth conversation with them, and they aired the highlights.
Nice. So now, in light of pitching, you guys have pitched over 150 investors. So can you tell us 3 things founders should not do when raising capital?
Could probably make a longer list than that.
We'll take as many as you've got.
So yeah, I mean, don't give up. I think that's the headline. All businesses hear no most of the time. Even the the Facebooks of the world hear no most of the time. So I think that's the headline. Is I forget who it is, but there's a famous VC that talks about how letting the fundraising process get you down can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I think that's probably the most important thing to remember. Is it's really about managing your own expectations and just understanding that there are probably 50 reasons that a VC might say no, and probably only 5 or 10 of them have to do with you. There's stage considerations. Is the business too early, too late? Does the VC already have competing business in the portfolio? Do they invest in your type of business? Are they SaaS focused or consumer focused, or have other sorts of criteria? There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. I think that doesn't necessarily have anything directly to do with the entrepreneur's business, which I think is important to keep in mind and contributes to the low hit rate. Other things not to do. Take your projections too seriously. I think it's important to have thought through them, but everyone realizes that they're a guess at best, especially in the early stages. It's good to build those models and to be thinking about the drivers, but also understand that there's a huge amount of variability, and you will be wrong whether the numbers come in above or below. So, and I guess the last thought I'd have is to not be too hung up on valuation. It's something that the tech crunches of the world like to talk about because it's sort of a sexy topic. But I think at the end of the day, you're really here to build the best company you can, and taking huge checks from whatever investor you can find isn't always the best strategy. Sometimes it is. But being thoughtful about the amounts that you raise and from whom, and the partners that you're gonna work with for years and years, and sit on your board and will be in your offices all the time is often overlooked and isn't reported on TechCrunch.
So Plated expansion has been really rapid, Josh, and your team is constantly iterating the product. How are you managing this as a company leader and just as Josh?
It's constant learning. I think that's the first thing, is just recognizing that you don't know what's going on, and that it's a team sport. No one has all the answers, and everyone needs to be brutally honest about that. Beyond that, we're iterating. So we've come a long way from being one small team in a room. We're now we're still a small team, but we have enough people to work on 2 or 3 projects at once rather than one. So internally we are learning a lot from Spotify, actually. So are organizing ourselves into squads, trying to keep everyone as autonomous as possible. We only hire smart people that we trust, so let them make the decisions rather than some centrally planned sort of product roadmap. There are architects and people that try to keep the sort of wheels on the bus, but we try to empower everybody to make decisions and build the best things they can.
All right, Josh. And now, what else do you want our audience to know about you, and what's next?
What's next? Just growing, rolling out the best products we can. We should have some exciting things to announce in the next few months, but not quite ready yet.
Oh. And now, where can everyone find you?
Just plated.com.
Great. Thanks so much for joining us, Josh.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.